Well, good day, dear listeners and dear viewers. Welcome to another episode of the Global Advocate Career Podcast. Today's guest is an individual who I've actually interviewed already in my other show called Navigating the New Normal in the Workplace, right, with my dear colleague, Len Adams. However, this time I'd like to bring her back to talk about her life, her experiences, and to share some more insight on her career, right, in virtual etiquette. Welcome, Dorothy Lata, otherwise known as Dor. Welcome, Dor.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for having me again. I'm looking forward to our time on air.
Me too.
I will be delighted to talk about interesting curves in my life and the path, which has been quite a journey.
Yes, we can't wait to hear about it. May I read a mini bio about you?
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. As the creative director of Bloomberg TV, Dor was responsible for the global beauty and image operation for talent on air. This included creative makeup and hair teams globally. Dor established and managed the international beauty and image operations within Bloomberg Global Network in the EU, HK, Asia, the Middle, South America, North America, etc., working on the camera image for various personalities such as Michael Bloomberg himself, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Charlie Rose, Placido Domingo, Bruce Jenner, the then Bruce Jenner, Roger Moore, oh my goodness, we have to talk about this, Dor, Linda Evans, Kevin Bacon, and many of the international Bloomberg TV anchors and reporters. Dor is a graduate of Makeup Forever School in Paris, France, with a Certificat de Spécialisation and studied makeup artistry, cosmetics, theory, and special effects makeup for film and theater in Paris directly under Miss Danny Sanz. Dor holds a BA in music and choreography from AWS in Warsaw, Poland, right? Yes.
Yes.
And the Frederick Chopin Music School at Bedynarska in Warsaw, Poland as well. Welcome, Dor, again to the Global Advocate Career Podcast. When you hear your background and what you've done, what you're currently doing, how does that make you feel?
Well, so all of my journey took me to the stage of my life where I am right now, because all those pieces of puzzles created who I am now. So if someone would say, well, what kind of path did you take to get to the point where you are in your life? Well, there were a few paths, as a matter of fact. And I reinvented myself a few times as well. I think the life is a constant reinvention on different patterns and professions, but the bottom line is you got to put your heart and passion in what you do in your life. Therefore, if you do that and you believe what you're preaching about deeply and you have it in your heart that what you do is the best what you can do, then it's always gonna work out in the end. And you're creating a mold of different skills and tools, languages, everything what you've learned before comes together and it's being put into that one pot. Yeah.
In that one pot, which I was reading about. Tell us about where you grew up, Dor. Where did you grow up and when did you come over to the United States?
So I grew up in Warsaw, but I used to go very often to visit my grandma 200 kilometers from Warsaw during summer times, during any kind of vacation time. So as a little girl, I spent a lot of time in a beautiful town called Kielce, which is between Warsaw and Krakow.
Okay.
And then as I got older, as I was picked, I've always wanted to sing and perform. So back then there was a special program because Poland was a socialist country, and we were having government being involved into a lot of entertainment, and government was controlling every kind of moves in a country. One of them was culture and education and performances and everything what was involved into a sort of music world as well. Therefore, when I was a little girl, 6 years old, I was auditioning to become a part of the band, girls band, singing and dancing.
Mm-hmm.
And I auditioned well because I became a member.
So you were a member of the band. And what was the name of the band?
So the name of this band was Warsaw, which is the town in the south of Poland by the Ukraine borders. So there was a part of the movement of Girl Scouts movement, which government was supporting, and putting this band to, with the music director, with the composers, with the musicians, to learn, to perform, to rehearse, and then represent Poland in a different various, let's say, international festivals.
Wow.
For kids, for later on for adults, as I changed bands a few times in my life, as I was getting older, obviously.
Right.
So yeah, and that was actually the best, I think, whatever happened in my life to be part of this band, because I was doing what I love to do, dancing and singing, and I was going to music school, and I was trained by the best musicians and composers in the modern pop Polish music, contemporary music, but then also I was studying classical music, so there was just a combination of all. And I met so many wonderful people because of traveling within Europe, so in such a young age. I've been to a lot of places that I probably would never gone if I would have been a part of this band. And so there was a beautiful journey, actually, and everything what was given back then was like a gift from above. So my parents had really easy with me. I was rehearsing, performing.
You were focused on that, right? You were totally
Yes.
focused on that. And so when did you decide that perhaps maybe you had other interests?
Well, so that's a very good question, Michelle, because the way how I actually end up being on the other side of the ocean here on this side was that another band I rehearsed and I got in was actually called Warsaw, which was representing Polish culture, national dances and beautiful songs. I was a lead singer, and then I was also dancing. So we got into a beautiful music festival in Canada, in Quebec and Toronto and Montreal. But location of this festival was called Drummondville. So in 1991, I came with the band. There was a group of 50 of us, musicians, performance singers, dancers, with lots of costumes, one suitcase, and $400 in my pocket. And guess what? 20 years later, I'm still here. 30 actually, 29 years later, I'm still here. And I'm enjoying this journey. So from Canada, I came to US to study music. At the New School, I was studying, I took classes in the New School, Fashion Institute of Technology. And then since I was working a lot with music, also I took interest of makeup artistry, simply because I was on stage. I needed to make myself look good, have my own image. And I decided to study it a little bit more deeply. And actually, I was lucky enough that someone introduced me to a very proactive new company, professional company from Paris, Makeup Forever.
Makeup Forever.
Makeup Forever. So I end up meeting a gentleman who bought a distribution deal for this company from Paris to United States, Pierre Michel. And Pierre Michel used to own the Pierre Michel salon, hair salon, but he also owned this cosmetic distribution deal at original Trump Tower. So Dorothy was working after I came back from Paris, where I ended up going to study makeup artistry. With the Nissans, I came back and I used to work for Makeup Forever under Pierre Michel. And I became the trainer, account executive, just name it, everything. I've traveled the US like it's no tomorrow, and I was so glad to go to places like Cincinnati, Ohio, Indiana, when I would never go because probably for an artist it's only between LA and New York for music as well. So I've seen places that I've been to Texas, New Mexico, just Montana, and it was a great another journey in my life also. But just because I've met this gentleman who probably saw me as a young artist, but eager to do so and study and represent his company. He trusted that I would be one of his artists and then work for him for a good 7 years. So there was also an excellent journey. And in the same time, I was doing music, performing at the places like CBGB's Gallery, The Bitter End. I had my
really?
bands.
So you were at the CBG Gallery as well?
Yeah, I was performing there with my band. My band was called Dorlada band.
Well, it was called Dorlada. It was named after you?
Yeah. So I have my music actually still on cdbaby.com, Spotify.
Really?
Collection of 3 albums. Yep. I recorded in the 90s and 2000s. And I had also a band. I was collaborating with the band from Pennsylvania, from Lancaster, which was also a great journey. I co-wrote a few songs with those guys. And then, so I was doing pretty much parallel to 2 careers as a musician, performer, singer-songwriter, and also working for Pierre Michel Makeup Forever as their lead trainer, coordinator, and account executive, which was a great journey because I was learning about corporative world. I didn't have a clue about since I was studying to be an artist, musician, and so there was a fantastic opportunity to see the 2 worlds of being an artist, but also being on the other side of being an artist. How does it work with the music business? How does it work with the makeup business? What do you need to know about how to conquer it? What do you do with your music when you write a song? How do you post it? There was no post back then. There were CDs. You make a CD, you record a song, and you go to a music store and hope that they can buy, let's say, 200 of those CDs from you.
Sure.
You play the show, you sell those CDs. It was right before the downloads happened in 2001 after September 11. And it was the beginning to the end of the music business, the way how we knew it from the, from for all of those years. So that was excellent, actually, the best of the best 2 creative worlds I could even ask for. I met amazing group of musicians, performance, and I met amazing group of people working as a trainer and also as a makeup artist. When I came back, working with MTV, with Viacom, working for different networks, meeting celebrities, politicians. It was just an amazing journey.
So let me ask you this. When you were doing makeup in the Midwest and in the center of the United States, right? Did you notice how if people applied makeup differently than perhaps an East Coaster or West Coaster?
Of course. It also, it depends on agenda and profession people are in. So let's say, yes, LA was always extravagant and loved the experimental colors, and Makeup Forever actually was a perfect fit because Makeup Forever was not shy with colors. This company has beautiful, bright colors and images. So it was perfect because there's a Hollywood, there's a lot of things going on. In New York, we had Broadway, we have Broadway. We still have Broadway, thank God.
Still have it.
On a pause, but we still have Broadway. TV production, a lot of Tribeca Festival, so all of it. But then in the middle of America, we were actually, it was good for me to go and see it because it was more mellow, very relaxed. And actually company like Makeup Forever was a super attractive thing for them to learn more about how does it work and how to apply it and what colors you can use to make it your signature look more interesting. And how does it work that you can make, let's say, this blue eyeshadow look so awesome with the beautiful navy blue liquid liner. If you apply it properly, not to be afraid. So everything was kind of like opening up the door for those communities to be more free and feel not to be afraid of colors otherwise.
Right. Now, in some states, such as in Wisconsin, there's a large Polish population.
Yes.
Did anyone ask you about your accent and wonder where you were from? Like, how did they handle that?
So Chicago, of course, I used to travel to Chicago a lot because this company, Makeup Forever, had the accounts with Nordstrom's, all the Nordstrom's, northeast. So I was in charge actually on this part. And of course, Chicago has a huge Polish community. So yes, people were, whoever was coming, I was meeting those people. They was like, oh, well, they recognize a little bit of the Eastern European accent. Back then was much heavier than it is now, but it was kind of interesting to see people coming up. Oh, so what other languages do you speak? Do you speak I speak Polish, Russian, Italian. So all of those actually languages gave me opportunity to communicate with people even more. And that was awesome. And it was actually giving me even bigger platform of communicating with different communities this way.
Yeah. So you came over to the US in the 90s, right? In the
91.
In 91. Back in Poland, there was significant political changes happening, right? Yeah. With Lech Walesa and Solidarity movement. How did that affect your family back home and affect you making a decision to move to the US?
This is actually perfect for the moment where we are now in the world, because I wanted to talk about this anyways. So I was very young when the martial law happened in 1981. My family, after the war in 1945, my family decided to not be part of the politics simply because my family suffered from being involved in politics. My grandfather was in jail in a socialist Poland because of his beliefs, and my grandma suffered with the family because of that. So it was pretty intense. So after, when my father and my mother grew up, they decided never be involved so deeply in the politics, not to affect us, because the whole family could have been affected. And they always find the ways to chase after families who are being different, in a different opposition. And then it would be a pretty difficult to shake it off. I mean, we would be chased for a long time. So anyway, so my family decided to not be involved after 1945, and therefore my parents protected very big shield over us. So during the martial law, we were young kids. We didn't, there was a time where there was lack of food. We had food stamps. Everybody in the country had to collect those little tiny food stamps, go for, let's say, a certain amount of butter, milk, and eggs. It was surreal. And that lasted a year. But it didn't affect me just because my parents were so proactive. They made friends with the families from the countryside, where the food was actually as an exchange of, if you knew someone, you could survive. That was actually survival instinct for my parents and my grandparents to make it work. So the reason why I came here, it wasn't because Poland became a democratic country after the wall came down in 1990, actually. So the wall came down in Berlin in 1989. There was perestroika from Russia. Gorbachev just made it happen. So Poland became a democratic country. There was no need for me to be chased out of the country or to go just because we are suffering from any political reasons or not to have enough. For me, was my love to music. And I guess that's the main reason.
That was the main reason. So it wasn't because of any political strife, but more because of your personal. And actually, that's a blessing, I think, right? That you're able to come over on your own choice.
No, with the band, there was a
with-
chance with the
yeah.
band. The band was just the token. There was a huge token to this, opportunity to come across the ocean, because otherwise I would have to pre-organize everything by myself. We had visas, visas are, you had to be approved to come to leave the country.
Look at that. Yeah.
And because we were students, still students, we were giving this an international music festival. They gave us visas, but they gave us visa to Canada. I had to fight for the visa to come to US.
Wow.
So I took my visa, which already was in my passport, Canadian visa, and I went and stayed in line in Warsaw, right in the front of American Embassy. And after literally 2 days of waiting in this line, finally I got to the booth.
2 days.
2 days. So after I got there, they asked me, so there was a gentleman I will never forget. He's like, so everything was obviously in English. He's like, so why, he could speak a little bit of Polish, but he was an American and he was interviewing candidates to get that visa. I said, so why do you want to go to the US? And I'm like, well, I've always wanted to go to see the Blue Note, the jazz club, in New York City. And this is like, he started laughing. He's like, he gave me a stab in the passport, like, have fun.
He was
Good luck, have fun, and say hello to everyone. Obviously, he loved jazz music as well. Otherwise,
I think he probably thought it was the best answer that he heard all day.
There you go. Yes. So there was a great fun momentum, and there was an icing on the cake right there. He gave me that stamp, and I was ready to fly.
So you fulfilled one of your dreams in being in a band and performing in the US and at the same time managing a career. How did you end up at Bloomberg?
Well, that's actually an amazing journey, because I've been working, I had 2 agents as a makeup artist. I had 2 agents who were representing me, one in LA, one in New York. And I've been doing quite a bit of editorial, advertising work, film, TV. And TV became more and more prominent kind of gig for me back then. So I actually was recommended to Bloomberg TV as a makeup and hairstylist by another friend of mine. And I end up basically working there in the makeup and hair department as an artist, creating images under the old management. When the new management happened in 2007, I've been asked to do more things, meaning create some images, organize few things, starting working on Bloomberg Terminal. And then little by little, starting being engaged more and more into administrative work, in training and scheduling makeup and hair teams, just only in New York. After New York, when management saw the skills I didn't know I do, but I did. Back then I didn't know, but it just, as much as you work with people, you organize, and if you have this training through all the bands, you need to be very organized with what to do with the music, with traveling. Everything came up very handy for me to be organized in a new platform, a new scenario.
Sure.
So I was asked to take care of San Francisco bureau. I was asked to take care of Washington, D.C. bureau. And little by little, I became the management. Then little by little, I became in charge of not only US, but UK. I went to train those people what to do. I was working with anchors and creating their images. And sustainable look in TV world for anchors is super important.
Very important.
So making, as you know, exactly. So I created images, took pictures, created image boxes for each single anchor around the world working for Bloomberg TV. So every single team at that bureau would know how to apply the makeup and how to do applications. So the look accordingly to the picture, it's exactly almost the same every day.
Wow.
Because that was the key to everything. You see, in this world, in TV world, is super important when the audience look at the anchor. They want to see the anchor without changing so much every day because it's distractive. So what they want to look is at the same signature look for, let's say, one anchor, and focus on their verbal presentation. Not, non-verbal presentation is 97%, but verbal presentation is super important so people can focus on it, what they say and how they say only first, and the look is not distracting.
It's not
Therefore,
distracting.
if audience are getting familiar with the image of each single anchor, that makes a nice cushion and sustainable look and image for the brand. So ultimately, anchors, they had their own brand representing a Bloomberg brand. And all of it was a package for the company, for Bloomberg LP.
So that's fantastic, because not only did you play a role in behind the scenes in terms of putting images together, but also you played a role for what we see in front of the scene. So your role was multifaceted. Now you've worked with, I gave some insight as I read your bio. You've worked with some quite famous individuals, right?
Yes.
I'm a big fan of Roger Moore. Tell
Me
us
too.
what it was like. May he rest in peace, right?
Yes.
What was it like working with someone of such stature and elegance?
Well, of course, well, I was totally speechless when I saw him. He's one of my favorite James Bonds, obviously. I mean, super elegant, handsome, and gentleman-like.
Yes.
So there was just, it took my breath away when I saw him from the distance. When I came up closer, he was very tall. I'm 5'9", but he was 6'4". Beautiful posture, handsome looking gentleman stood in the front of me. And so he's like smiling at me. He's like, so, and I said, hi. He said, hi, my name is James Moore.
That's funny.
And it's like, hi, and my name is Dorothy. I couldn't believe that I'm talking to this wonderful man, excellent actor, a brilliant performer. I mean, it was just breathtaking experience that I will never forget in my life. Like, he looked at me, he's like, how would I not know who you are? I mean,
I think it's fantastic. Meeting celebrities, and just, there are certain celebrities when you meet, they're worth talking about because they've done so much, and
yes.
his career, everything, the one consistency was his elegance and his demeanor, right?
But
now,
super humble gentleman.
Super humble as well. I've read about how he didn't even want to be an actor from all intents and purposes. Now, on your website, you discussed the different individuals you've worked with. You've worked on sets of major TV shows such as Dynasty, right?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So actually on my website, you will see the video from this that I worked on with Linda Evans and her partner in crimes. And in the back of this video, I am actually coming and applying little powder on Linda Evans' face. So that's me in the back.
Is that you in the background? Okay.
I'm doing the background. So it was beautiful. I mean, it was just such a great experience. When you're working with people that caliber, you just kind of absorbing that energy, the high energy and the high fly. It's like, it's like an eagle, spread your wings and fly. You feel it because those people on that level have specific energy and vibration. I can't describe it more than that, but there's something that you feel. It's It's there, and that's why they are who they are.
Mm-hmm.
The resonance, it's on the higher vibration. They are super intuitive, but also they have the way around them, which is not everybody can understand this. But when you get into this high level vibration, and it's just amazing to. Some of them are difficult, some of them are less difficult, some of them are just as humble as Roger Moore. So there's a variety of different personalities. The bottom line is, I've always, whenever I was training my teams, makeup and hair stylist teams, I've always said, always work with white gloves, understand personalities, listen, talk less, unless, there's something, you just need to absorb this, but embrace it also.
That's right. That's
Embrace
exactly
it
right.
in a big level. So big part of this was the fact that I was exactly prepared and trained being a performer on stage.
Mm-hmm.
From little young kid, 5 years old, toothless, almost. They train us how behavior skills, how to body posture, body language, what does it mean, soft skills, but how to walk, how to talk. Everything was actually, there was a part of the training to participate, to be a part of the band, but there was a bigger meaning. They were creating someone who knew how to behave in an international skills level. When they sent someone young to represent the country, they didn't want to have a trouble. Obviously, all of this preparation took part, and that gave me those skills that when I built my teams at Bloomberg, I was gently approaching it, and I knew how to build those teams on the skills that were super important to be in an environment like that.
That's right. That's important. I think this is one of the areas that you and I spoke about, on how important it is to practice soft skills successfully. And you deal with the visual, right? You spoke
Yes.
about that in a previous episode, where virtual etiquette is so important, and there's so many different facets to it. Now, when did you decide that you wanted to go into business for yourself and start your own company?
Well, I think, 12 years is a long journey. And in between this working for corporate America, I also had a small collection of perfume. E4 fragrance collection. I was always passionate about this. And I thought, oh, this is a business I would love to be in, fragrances. Cosmetics obviously would have been my favorite, but it was so hard to do as a single, a small business if you don't have backing and investors. So that was a huge, plus competition these days, it's gigantic.
Right.
So I decided, I was always passionate about perfume, and I decided to develop perfume company called E4 based on elements: water, earth, air, and fire. They are unisex perfumes. You can layer them and you can create your own perfume. You apply air in the morning and fire in the evening. And then you can just
we like fire in the evening.
There you go. So, but the bottom line is, so that back then in 2015 was just the beginning of this journey. I felt like I can really do it on my own. I had the great journey, but there's something more I wanted to do. All of the skills I've learned working for corporate America were preparing me to take off as a small business, woman in business, small business, and being able to actually to learn how to do administrative part, how to schedule the teams, how to budget the teams, how to do the budgets, how to approve timesheets. What does it take to have your own business? You are just one woman orchestra. It's a huge responsibility, but it's so amazing when you start feeling like every single pieces of puzzle are become, you have your own business, become one, then you feel like, oh, this is great. All of those skills I learned suddenly make total sense.
That's right. It's very gratifying. It's very gratifying. Yes. And what I find is that all my previous positions helped groomed me to have my own business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can completely relate. So tell us about what you're doing now.
So in 2017, I started, 2018, I started my company called On Camera Image Consulting.
Okay.
And the vision was to, in a new virtual world of social media, to make everybody aware of the visual presence. What does it mean to have a visual presence and a signature look? Depending who you are with your profession.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it was like someone is telling the story about who they are. You telling with your look, you're telling the story as complete story, what you are saying.
That's
So
right.
with your look is saying the story, what you are telling.
Mm.
So it's a storytelling situation. And I wanted to actually help people with it, with different aspects, not only for anchors per se, but you know, in this new era,
Yes.
in virtual world, we are on our anchors, sitting in the front of Zoom meetings, you know, having meetings, Zooms, having anything over and over again. What do you think you do? You are on camera.
That's
24/7.
That's
You
right.
take this picture, snapshot, goes on your social media. You wish you make that presentation right. You wish you took this picture right, because this moment never goes away. Stay up there for a long time, and people can look and check you out with your images, with your performance, with anything what you do. So I would like to actually, the reason why I created this company was
Yes.
to make people aware how important this is, and also help people understand what does it mean to prepare. What does it mean backstage? So it's a backstage preparation. Think about this like Broadway show. Actor or artist goes and performs. How many rehearsals did it take to be on that stage? Over and over again, with costumes, makeup, wigs, light, body posture, dancing, everything over and over again, months of rehearsals just to be on that stage for another few months. But you rehearse every day almost. So same with our performance. We are performing. If you are in the front of your computer, you look in that camera, this is your performance. This is your signature look. This is what you, and your desk is your stage. Your background represents part of the stage too. What kind of light do you choose? What kind of a microphone do you, what speakers do you have? And well, it depends, everything depends how much of the professional image you want to give it to yourself. So
no, I think I just, you've said so much, and it's all important. And I think it's worth just kind of recapping for a minute, because considering your background and your video presence, a stage, really changes the perception, in my opinion. I think it's interesting because folks are so used to, remember we spoke about this, people are used to taking selfies. Right? And they're actually carrying out what you're saying without probably even knowing it. You know, maybe they do. I'll speak for myself. I don't take selfies. I only take shots for my brand. But what I will say is that you want to do it right. And so you're helping people do it right.
Absolutely. That's the purpose number one. I would like to make sure that whoever would be working with me in the future, whoever worked with me in the past, they would remember that the preparation we made all of the differences in the world.
Sure.
To make them look super professional. Mm-hmm. And you know, the bottom line is also to make the professional look accordingly to the personality as well. You don't want to make someone's look like, let's say, who the person is not like. You know, we are not creating a fake images. We're creating authentic, beautiful images to go with personality of the person.
That's
to me, it's super important, super important.
It is very
represents
important.
Your vibrance, represents who you are, your personality, everything, and your body movement, your facial expressions, everything with your look, with everything what you do and how people see you, you need to feel comfortable in it.
That's
like
right.
in your own skin.
In your own skin. Now let's talk about suggestions that you would have for our listeners and viewers on mask wearing. Now we all know that wearing a mask doesn't mean you communicate any less. If anything, you're just communicating with your eyes more, right?
Right.
What sort of makeup tips would you give someone who has to wear a mask every day? Should they even wear makeup?
Well, it's a huge topic right now, and I've been reading a lot about women asking about what, obviously, lipstick or lip gloss or little, it's questionable. However, I found a company who's got beautiful matte colors that don't come off so easily and doesn't stick to the mask.
Really?
Because it's matte, yes.
Should we unless you're getting sponsored by the company or I'm getting sponsored by the company, are we going to mention the company?
I can reveal this one because it's beautiful product. It's Inglot, Inglot, and actually has beautiful lipsticks in pencils, matte. In matte, the universal color is number 23. Brilliant, brilliant. So I recommend this because I've tested it, actually wearing it when I was going outside. We had few meetings, you wear this, but then you suddenly have your Zoom meeting
Yes.
in a second. So quickly, I just had it on. I tested it and it works. But going back to the makeup application, a lot of women just let go. But you still have that meeting in the office, you're wearing mask. If you don't wear anything, you look super unprofessional. I'm sorry, there's need to be something to emphasize your beauty.
Yeah, absolutely.
So don't forget your eyebrow pencil and fill in, so create beautiful shape for your eyes. Make that liner happen because that actually emphasize your eyes, make it look stronger on camera, on off camera. If you wear glasses like me, it's good to make a little bit extra on your eyes so they are more popping.
Make sure that they pop more. That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
So the eyes, I would definitely focus on eyes. I mean, in this point, we have to skip the contour because you don't see contour and it's gonna come off a mask.
It's gonna come off on the straps, yes.
But concealer, ladies, don't forget about concealer. I lady eye concealer. A lot of us, this is the part when you can brighten your eyes so nicely, so make your eye even more pop. Concealer would be very good. Eyebrow pencil, mascara. You have beautiful lashes, emphasize it, just show it. So then your eyes are gonna stand up. That mask covers your lips, nobody can see it. And that's how it is for now.
For now, did you ever think you'd be giving suggestions on how to wear makeup with a mask on?
This is surreal, but it is here. I know, but when we do our Zooms at home, any kind of meetings on camera, well, don't forget, ladies, wear that makeup. Makeup is gonna make you feel better, make you feel good. You're gonna see yourself looking pretty. You're gonna perform better. Your confidence will be stronger. So this is, let's don't forget, do it for yourself.
Do it for yourself, not for anybody else, right? Right? Let's just be clear.
Let's start with ourselves. Let's start with ourselves first.
Start with yourself. Start with yourself. That's fantastic. So, in reference to virtual etiquette, do you see more interest in this now than before?
Of course, yes, absolutely. So I've been approached by a few platforms, and now since I created a few different agendas we can talk about, those platforms started becoming super popular and part of the training in a different, with the different clients. This is becoming part of the programming and training for people who are going to be doing every day what we are doing right now, having a Zoom meeting, having a presentation. You need to appear, you need to know how to move your body, how to make the body posture, facial expression, how to apply this, your makeup and hair. what works, what doesn't, do's and don'ts. So those are the skills where nobody was basically teaching us, where we were studying in college.
Right.
These are new skills that everybody's gonna be teaching. College graduate, because it's without that skill, you can't really interview. You know, you have to go through the interview on camera, on Zoom, for instance. How do you behave in the front of this camera? You know, how do you sit? How do you position your body? How do you smile?
Are you engaged, right? Are you engaged? What's in your background, right?
Same with the career building. You know, Michelle, how many clients probably, you know, if you make the best presentation during that interview, you are gonna be the one who's gonna get this job.
That's right.
But you need to make that preparation to make the best impression you can. And it only takes 8 seconds. 8 seconds.
8 seconds to make a great impression. I agree. I agree 100%. So what can we expect from Dorlada within the next year?
Well, we're going to be working very hard to help people how to make the best presentations of all on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I would continue building different platforms, helping people with different things. And I, you know, I think I'm building a platform on my network that when you are gonna go to my website, you can have helpful tools to build something, build like your studio, this proper set, proper the light, proper speaker, you know, and you can actually, there are sets of packages. You can go to my website on cameraimage.com, on cameraimageconsulting.com, and you see those COVID-19 services and packages.
Okay.
Something fits what you like, contact me. You can just contact me, guys. I'll be delighted to chat. That's what we are here for, to help you to make your best presentation. So I continue doing what I'm doing and hoping that my community would go bigger and bigger, and I continue shaping and helping people's virtual images and signature looks.
Now, which I'm sure that you will succeed in, Dor. So I'm looking forward to hearing and following you and staying in touch. Now, there's a section of my podcast called Wait, What? Where I ask some interesting questions, hoping to elicit some interesting responses. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. If your name wasn't Dorothy, what would it be?
Well, Veronica, probably.
Oh yeah, I totally see you as a Veronica. Absolutely.
That's my favorite name of all. That's actually my mother's name.
I
end up as a Dorothy. It's not too bad. I'm always thinking about this Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, the Wizard of Oz.
Hello. But Veronica, definitely that's what it would be.
Oh yeah, Veronica. What's your favorite color?
Red.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, deep red. It's beautiful. It's almost like the wine red. Not the wine red, but the nice aged, beautiful kind of deep, almost Bordeaux.
Oh, so
that's my favorite.
So what kind of wine do you like?
Well, Bordeaux.
I figured that's why it was an easy question. What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Strawberry.
Oh.
I love strawberries.
What's your favorite movie of all time?
Oh my God, I love this. Under the Tuscan Sun.
Oh, that's with that actress
Lang, with Diane Lang. Yes.
Yeah, with Diane.
I love this movie. It makes me feel awesome. When I have my moments, I would go back to this movie over and over again. It's just something so uplifting. When you remember the story, she made it towards the end, even having better life than ever before.
Wow. I haven't seen her lately on the screen, so hopefully she'll come back up.
Yeah.
If you could have dinner with anyone in history, who would it be?
That's a great question, Michelle. My God, there are so many people God, still alive or
they could have passed away, or they could still be alive.
Well, very interesting. Well, I'm triggered. Well, you know what? I would say Albert Einstein.
Mm.
Second would be Margaret Thatcher, which is very random, but not
Oh,
actually not random. She was super um, controversial lady, but
she was very controversial, but she got the job done.
yeah, but Albert Einstein or Cleopatra. If I go back, there would be one.
Oh,
I would definitely have a dinner, I guess, supper with Cleopatra.
yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the questions I'd ask her is like, what do you do in your eyes? Your eyes are so fabulous.
Well, you know, the secret about Cleopatra was that, you know, the Plutarch, the ancient philosopher, described her as not a natural beauty lady.
Mm-hmm.
She created, talking about signature look, she had created that beautiful signature look we all remember. Red lips, black, beautiful hair color, cut,
Oh, yes.
very, very sizzle like, and blue eyeshadows. And she had created it. She had most beautiful, that's at least what Plutarch said, mellifluence voice that people were melting as she was saying things.
Really? So she was
How she got
sultry.
Julius Caesar and Mark.
Oh, yeah.
She was quite a amazing lady herself. So yes, that would be my choice number one.
I agree. I agree. Have you ever seen a ghost?
Hmm. Well, that's a good question. Um, well, I thought I did, but maybe I just my imaginary. I'm so my imaginary is huge. I can imagine things since I was a little girl. So maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But if I did, I have such a vivid memory of it.
Well, do you want to tell us about it?
Hmm?
Do you want to tell us about it?
Well, there was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. And I was traveling in Italy. There was one in the one most beautiful churches in Milan, Piazza del Duomo. And I walked into this church and I felt like something was like flying by me, like
Really?
soft and beautiful and kind of like full of gold, almost like a ray of sun, or but it was just moving and I saw like floating something. But I'm just saying, maybe that's what I wanted to see.
That sounds
I
pretty.
wanted magic and I got it in Italy, in Milan. Okay, I couldn't ask for a better place.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that. What's on your playlist right now? What's the top song that you play on your playlist?
Wow. So yes, I love music. So there are a lot of songs I love to play and listen to. Um, you know, recently I've been listening to a all good band like YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
U2, you know, all good rock stars music. Kate Bush, U2,
Yeah.
and you know, I love Hotel California. I think that would be my number one. I don't. There's something about this song. All 5 minutes long. I love that song from A to Z.
From
There
the
would be
Eagles? From the Eagles Hotel
from the
California?
Eagles.
Yeah,
Yes,
nice.
I love Hotel California. Just the way how it was simple songwriting, 5 chord progression, beautiful solos, guitars, awesome harmonies. I mean,
Yeah.
Eagles singing
Yeah. Eagles,
harmonies,
Eagles alone. I mean, I love the Eagles. I love
drums
the Eagles.
or guitars, everything speechless. And that song makes me feel so good through that 5 full minutes of it. That's number one.
Wow.
And of
Last
course,
question.
my songs too.
Yo, yeah, that's right. That's right.
My songs. Love Would Never Leave Me, Hypnotize Me. Go and check it out, dorladamusic.com.
I love it. Yes, I can't wait to check it out. Last question. If you could time travel, where would you go?
We're tapping in back again to Cleopatra time. Definitely to that time. Yes. And then I would want to try to have dinner with her.
Yeah.
Just because I love that era.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, although, you know, it was tough time for women rather than being as powerful as Cleopatra, you know, I would love to see how she just made it work, that she made those two powerful men being interested in her. Mark Antony and Julius Caesar. Both of them were breathtaking as well and super powerful. And she managed. So I would go to that era. I love ancient times, you know, ancient history, Greece and Italy, and also Roman Imperium. All the time, it's super. And Egypt.
That's right. Yeah. I think it would be great to chat with Cleopatra. I'd love to ask her because I know I think she was set up with her stepbrother too. So she kind of had a really challenging moment there.
Life, yeah.
Yeah, she's a survivor.
She was.
I've got one more question for you.
Okay. Ready.
What's the most courageous thing you have ever done?
Oh, wow. Well, I always wanted to do skydiving. I never done it. Wow, that's a good one. I think introducing myself first time in person. I was never shy. So something which people say, oh, you know, I don't want to do this. I want to, you know, I'm a little bit shy to introduce. So I went ahead and introduced myself to Bill Gates.
Oh.
He was at Bloomberg. I just wanted to meet him.
That's right.
So he was sitting there and I came up to him and I introduced myself.
And how was that? How was it? He's another human being. Why not?
He's another human being. Well, very, very nice, kind, and shy.
He seems like he's a little shy.
Very shy, but it was very humble situation. I just introduced myself, said how, you know, how impressive, you know, his all wealth management has been done. And through so many years, he's definitely a, well, now number 2, but he used to be number 1.
Not anymore, but
Amazon took over, yeah, the world, yes.
Well, good for you for introducing yourself. And I mean, I think that's a lesson for us all. Dare yourself to do something that, you know, take a risk, introduce yourself, write to someone, reach out to someone. That's how you network. And Dor, you have definitely shown us what it means to reinvent yourself, to work with what you have, to continue being successful. It's such a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Will you come back again in a few years and let us know how you're doing?
Yes, thank you so much, Michelle, for having me. It's such a pleasure. I love talking, you know, it's such a nice, you're such a great host.
Thank you.
It's so wonderful and easy to be part of your show because you just made it easy for me. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Joy. Would you believe it's already an hour has passed? Where did time go?
Well, because we had such a great time.
I know. We could talk forever, can't we?
Yes, we could.
Now, if everyone, just to repeat again, Dor, if someone wants to reach out to you, what's your website, please?
Sure. My website is Dorlata. I'm sorry. Dorlata at oncameraimage.com. That's my email. My website is oncameraimage.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Dorlata, On Camera Image Consulting. You can find me on Instagram, On Camera Image Consulting, Facebook, On Camera Image Consulting.
Yeah.
So you can find me pretty much on all those social medias, and please don't hesitate to reach out. Would love to help you guys to make it work, to make it better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Dor, again. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, dear listeners, from whatever part of the world that you're in. Until next time.
Thank you, Michelle.